exit survey. These are the colleges that are participating in our graduate attribute assessment programs. While general courses are there, PYP and other general courses, and we are using indirect surveys for program exit survey. The GA system. Why we need this kind of a system? Actually, the problem that everybody faces now is we are having lot of reports, and from that report we need a data that only correspond to us. The time that it's time consuming, it's tedious, and mostly the reports are not available that when we need to do the task. So to ease up our data collection process, also we want to automate the dashboard that we are going to show you after my task. Actually, Miss Sama will be showing you. And also we want to get the data in required format. Every college have been reporting their data in different formats in the report, and then we had to process that data, especially Dr. Shabir, like, he had to, in some colleges, he had to cumulate the data to find the sum. So to do this thing and to get reports in due time, and obviously management can review and results anytime with the system. So that's why we made the system. This is a snapshot of our system, in which if you see, these two parts are only for DQAD, higher management, and all other parts belong to the specific programs. The final report refers to the final results that will be sent to our EEU unit for preparing the dashboard, and visuals are the dashboard that we have prepared that will be shown later. So if you see, this was the sheet that was shared with all colleges. This is only for computer science program, in which they can see that it's for the academic year 22-23. The PLOs or SO codes are already written. This time we requested the colleges to please validate these PLOs. These PLOs were picked from their websites, so that there is no problem, but still they need to validate it. So they need to validate the PLO assessment. Second thing is they have to fill in the assessment method. We have seen that most of the colleges have done this, but few colleges didn't fill this. We need to show what are the assessment method for getting the assessment results for direct, and also the assessment method that were used for indirect. So this was kind of good example. That's why we have portrayed here. Then you need to fill in, this time only you need to fill in the performance target. From next academic year we will lock this, so that you don't because you usually don't change the performance target every time. Whenever you change, you can inform TLC and then we will update. Then you need to fill in the assessment results, but individually, direct and indirect. The last two columns were given read only, but this need to be validated by you, because these are the graduate attribute mapping of the program, and the learning domain also need to be checked. Then you need to analyze the achievement of assessment results. The analysis, I will show you where you can put it. It need to be added in the comment on the program learning outcome assessment results. So the assessment method need to be filled and are mandatory. Performance target must be reviewed and must be set by the program leader, and you need to enter the program achievement directly and indirectly. Then in comment section, you need to analyze whatever you have entered the data. You need to insert the records, both assessment evaluation for direct and indirect assessment. For this computer science program, they have analyzed all 6 SOs. So they have provide the analysis of all 6 SOs. The dashboard. Ms. Saima is going to show you the dashboard, but this is the dashboard that will be the outcome of our system. In summary, actually, what we have obtained from our, this exercise, and obviously we need to improve on top of it. We need to ensure that all colleges need to, enter the records separately for direct and indirect assessment. Sometime they were missing, so we need to ask them to do it. All colleges actually need to verify the graduate assessment mapping and mapping of learning domains. It's easy if they go to website and they see the table that we have shown. If they map to GA1, it will be knowledge and understanding and so on. So it's easy to do the mapping, but they need to verify their graduate assessment mapping. We respect every program has their own, assessment, of program learning outcomes. So they need to enter only the data that is relevant. In future, we will apply more restriction in terms of, copy paste, because it removed our formulas. Also, we will add this section for adding the assessment methods and assessment results. And also we will support, assist how you can add the analysis of assessment results. And later, inshallah, if we can modify this report and it can be added to APR directly, that will be also in future. So if you would like to see the system, this is our system, in which, you can go to any program. Let's say this was the program I was showing, but we can go to this Dr. Alia program. And then if you see here, they have added the records only for their K1 and K2s. And that is totally fine. But these records are fine. So you can add only the things that are in green. All other things, we assisted you by having the comments or by having an email, and then we, change the whatever was requested. And then in final, obviously, how final sheet is going to look like. This report is only dedicated to TLC, and the visual is will be shown by Miss Saima in the next session. So that's why I'm not going to cover that. Thank you. Yes, Miss Ruhi.
Thank you, Dr. Yasser. This is really a much needed system, inshallah, and it will be hopefully improved by adding the CLO and PLO assessment, inshallah, in future. My question to you is that what if we would like to see the GA results of the previous of 2021, 2022? Is it available, or you are starting the system with effect from this, from last year?
Yes, sir. I'll jump in here. We have the data, but it wasn't put into this system. It was a different system. Shabir worked. See, I think last year it was Shabir who
Okay,
created the something. Yasser did something as well, but I can't remember who did the final version. But and then the year before that, we have something that's very, very, very generic.
hmm,
So you can see the progression, how it started with just like basic data that was collected and then the Excel sheets. Correct me if I'm wrong, Shabir. And then now it's moving more towards the automation of it, which is what we want. Which is what we
inshallah,
want.
inshallah. So, are we going to have a separate file for the next year? Because here it shows on the top, academic year 2022, 2023. What I mean to say that will be a generic system for all the years, or it will be dedicated to a particular year? Because it's
Yeah,
mentioned in the main.
very valid point. Actually, inshallah, after this meeting, we have actually all the records for every year. We will be sharing this page with everyone, but
Mhm.
obviously these records are all with us for all the years. We will keep it.
Okay.
So it will not be it will be generic system. But that's a very valid point and point to be taken, that we will add this in the system previous years, a
Mhm.
new tab that can take you to the previous years and people can see the other reports.
And they
Obviously,
can see also the improvement, that how the
they
improvement
can
has
see
been
the
made.
improvements, and obviously we will try to add. Obviously, for first 2 years only reports, and then from this year we can add more things.
More things. My second question is that, Dr. Alia, regarding if we, I don't know whether we have to strictly follow the learning domains. Uh, uh, we
Yeah,
have one, skills and values. The
yeah.
communication skill falls under skills domain, and teamwork falls under values domain. Is it okay that we can map a particular, you can say, uh, like a mapping can be done, not one to one mapping, it can be one to many mapping, because in
Yeah,
other, if this is fine, then we I mean, you should allow us to map a particular outcome to two, or
you can.
you
You
divide this graduate attribute into two
you
and make
can.
one skill and one value, because you are
I
combining
think
the
you
two.
can. No, I think you can. This is the thing. So, like, let's say I have a PLO that's listed underneath values. Okay. Let's see if I can find an example, quick example. Uh, if I if I have a PLO that's mapped to values in the CS program, okay, but then in IS it's mapped underneath the skills domain. That's fine. Now, if you're talking in the same program, if you're talking in the same program, can I have one PLO that's mapped to more than one learning domain? We try to avoid that. And Rita, and I mean, Rui, you were there as well. What did they say when they were talking about the learning outcomes and the mapping? Because they did spend a little bit of time on that on Thursday when we were at the quality forum. There
Yeah.
was a little bit of time, but it's possible because let's say I have a learning outcome at the skill level for juniors and seniors, junior and senior students. We're assuming that they have that knowledge already. You get what I'm saying? We are assuming that they have the knowledge when we click skills, but it also it involves knowledge and it involves skills. Sa wala la.
Yeah, this is what I'm just sharing, because you must have received this document from NCAA for
Yeah.
Jahazia program.
Mm.
uh, this is the latest, you can say, version, where they are showing the learning outcomes is mapped to more than one learning domain.
Yes.
So if we I mean, as DQAD, should we also change our strategy, that asking the department, because so far what we are telling them, it's one to one,
Yeah.
that every LO should be mapped one, uh, to one, you can say, learning. But now what we are seeing, tomorrow we'll be having this Jahazia workshop. We
Yeah.
need to give them. That's why I'm raising this question here, so that we are on the same
Yeah.
page. Should we? If they will ask this question, can they map their learning outcomes to more than one learning domains?
Well,
For
for me,
Jahazia, yeah,
it depends on the wording of the
it
learning out.
depends on the one. Yeah,
It depends on the
yeah,
wording.
yes,
Because we do have some CLOs that clearly could be more than one of the learning domains. And then I think if we don't get to it this year, but at least maybe in the next year, we need to go and see like the mappings themselves of the learning outcomes. Are they being mapped appropriately? Are they worded appropriately? So, like when I'm writing a value, is it really a value or is it a skill or is it knowledge? uh, some of the things that I have seen recently when I was just quickly going through and reviewing, I was like, is that really a value?
mm-hmm.
Uh, so this is the thing. So it's like maybe we need to remind them what value, the learning domain of value is underneath the new standards by NCAA and EDIC.
Yeah, so can we link ILO 4 to 2, like skills, comma, value? This is my question
Yes,
actually.
I mean, but it depends on the wording of it. Yes.
Because it mentions our graduates articulate ideas clearly to others in both oral and written forms. This is
Mhm.
skills. and how to effectively work and with others, in teams to accomplish a goal. This is values.
Yes.
So can we, because now the NCAA is actually guiding us. Yes, you can map with more than one, and that makes sense also. I'll
That's
give
good.
one more example, Dr. Alia.
Yeah.
Digital natives, nothing can be done now without digitization, isn't it? Whether
Ab-
it's a humanities program or any program or a
Absolutely.
CBA program. So I think this is inclusive now. Digital natives cannot be, even if you are critical thinkers, you need to use IT technology. So showing this as a separate graduate attributes, or not showing this as an inclusive with everything. Like even if you're leaders, you need to have tools. Why do we need to show that, okay, you're solving problem separately, like using IT? It is inclusive in my opinion. So
Yeah.
is there any way we can,
I mean, we can agree. I mean,
after
if
completing the graduate attribute cycle, I
yeah,
know
yeah,
you're in the middle, yeah.
yeah, we're in the middle. So, I mean, we can't do it right now, but once we finish this cycle, then of course. I mean, for me, this is the way it should have been from the get-go. Remember, NCAA is still relatively young. They're evolving. You see them constantly updating their standards,
Yeah. Yes.
sometimes too quickly, in my opinion, not giving us a chance to, oh, wow, what, 2 years? Okay, yallah. I just got
They experiment on us, huh? This generation, maybe next generation, they will
Eh,
be
eh,
mature
eh.
faster.
Absolutely,
Thank
absolutely.
you. This was my
Yeah, yeah.
question. I thought, let me just raise
No,
this.
I think it's fine. I mean, does anyone else have an opinion about that? I mean,
Yeah, I have a question actually. Actually, they already actually request all the report for PO laws and for each program. So
yeah,
my question here is, the system will be relay on the program will enter their information,
yeah.
or it will be read. So like, how many report actually we have for PO laws,
Well,
or only the APR? They only report in the APR, or
yeah. Well, remember a couple of years ago, we stopped the separate
yeah, okay.
report
So they only report in APR, right?
APR, and now we have the digital system. So the link has to be incorporated into the APR as well. This is my idea: is that we need to improve this whole process, and we had a meeting in TLC about this. Is that
Mm.
the
So the
assessment
outcome,
planning and
sorry
the
to interrupt.
effective
So the
reports, because
outcome of the system, yeah.
we
So
can't
that,
keep waiting for the
yeah,
APRs, because the
yeah, yeah,
APRs are still not 100% complete yet because of the delayed data, correct?
yeah, yeah, yeah. But now my question, the
Yeah,
outcome of the system
yeah,
will be like capture or whatever will be put in the APR. So they will be
yes,
close
yes,
to the, yeah, close to the
absolutely,
what is there. Okay.
absolutely.
So another question. So they already request the all report for PLOs for all programs for last year, institutional and all programs. So are we waiting for the APR to complete actually the request of from ethic,
No,
or can we do it before?
we've already went ahead and asked for it.
Can I
We
answer here?
asked for it. We asked for it
Yeah.
actually separately, Rita. This is what Yasser
Okay,
had to
good.
put in the system. So, and Simon is going to show you the assessment of learning outcome report.
That's
That's
good, good. So I will give access to whom to like put the information in the Excel sheet of the ministry. So who will can do that one from your side?
say that again.
So we have to report this in the Excel sheet for the ministry for
Yeah,
the ethic.
Dr. Mamdou already has a PowerPoint of the initial results. It doesn't give all of the data, but it gives an overview of
No,
what
no,
we're.
no, no. We want actually the program linked outcomes for the program and the
Uh,
assessment method, performance target, and the result. This is what I actually request for all domains.
for
for each
all
program.
for
Yeah,
each program.
Mr.
100.
Rida,
for all
yeah,
programs.
Mr. Rida, this data is already collected by, Dr. Yasser and his team
Yeah, it's
in
what
the
it
GA system. So they simply have to copy and paste it there, nothing else.
we.
If we'll ask this
Simon, hang on
again,
one second. One
uh,
second. I'll have Simon share what she has done, and this is all that needs to be shared with either the Ministry of Education or
no,
EdTech.
no, Dr. Alia, they have an Excel workbook.
Let
They
me
need
just
data
show
in
it to
that
you.
Excel workbook.
Alia.
So if we'll ask,
Simon, Simon, go ahead and share so that Ruhi can see.
no,
I
Dr.
will
Alia,
just,
just one
yeah,
thing I just want to
yeah.
say.
This is
If
what
we will,
actually they request,
yeah,
Dr.
if
Alia.
we'll ask the chairperson again to fill this data, they will get mad us
No,
at
they
us.
don't have to.
So it
No.
should be done by the TLC or someone to put this
Mm.
data there. I
Yeah,
think
this
you
is
all
what,
have already collected it.
Dr. Alia, can you see my screen?
Hang on one second.
Yes, Miss
Yeah.
Dr. Shabir.
Yes, just answering the question of Brother Reza. Brother, this is the system which we made for, let's say, next couple of years, So
Mm.
now whatever data, let's say, ministry needs, with the passage of time, for example, not only this one, but even in future, the system can easily give us the data. For example, now there's a feature which we believe that, we are not collecting. So we will add that feature in the system, alas. So
Very
this
nice.
optimization, going to help us out by either way. And again, for the record, we haven't designed the system for the reporting of ministry at this specific point of time. It was in queue for last 1 year. Based on our experiences, we were just trying to develop the system. So
Hmm.
now, as you are mentioning this sheet, so let's say if we believe that, we are collecting most of the data, okay?
Hmm.
But if any feature is missing, we can add that feature in the system and we can collect it in future. And it even in upcoming reports, whatever ministry requires, or ministry, NCAA, any other entity, for example.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. So
So
all
this
this element will be available in the system,
Okay,
right?
okay. Now, Saima, show your dashboard because all of this data is in the dashboard. All of it. It's there. We have it.
Okay, good, good. Thank you.
Saima, Saima.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you very much, everyone, and thank you very much, Yasir and Shabir, also for and mashallah, the system is amazing. It's user centric, and the thing is, it's built inside the DQ within DQAD. Let me just share my screen. I won't take much time in the okay. That screen. Assessment. All right. So this dashboard, it's based on the learning outcome data that we have collected from the system, and here we have the graduate attributes and the learning outcomes in the beginning. So the data is it's the report is very comprehensive. It is giving us insights into every detail. It's very it's representing each, and it's giving us the information about individual program for direct and indirect assessment. Each dashboard tab is very detailed. I have exported it as a PowerPoint just for the convenience, but the report itself, the Power BI dashboard, it has all the filters in it. We can use by college, by program, by graduate attributes, or by institutional learning outcomes. I can show you some examples here. As you can see, it's giving us the achieved learning outcome percentage with the target benchmark, which is 75% here. We have it distributed by the graduate attributes. We have the assessment percentage achieved over college. This is a trend, and also by the learning domains. If we can drill down, if we want to see one of the programs, how they have achieved, like this one, for example, any of the department here, we can take, like, say, for example, finance or any other program, how individual learning outcome, student learning outcome, or program learning outcome is contributing towards the end of the overall achievement. We can see that as well. So if you can see, if I drill down this one, I can get individual learning outcomes. You can see the learning outcome 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, how they are contributing towards the overall achievement of the program. And then we can further, investigate into if we want to see for a particular graduate attribute or learning outcome. For example, graduate attribute 1. So for the overall all the programs, we want to see on the graduate attribute 1. So we can see in for the accomplishment of GA1, 90% from accounting, 70% from CS, 86% and 86% for SC and IS respectively. We have also by domain, you can see the contribution of by percentage. This is for undergrad program, by the way, and this is for direct assessment. We also have the data by the indirect assessment. This is also by a graduate attribute. Actually, it's a little bit zoomed in, but this is it's drilled down. By for finance also you can see it's for a particular program, but we do have the overall. Also we have a comparison for each program for direct and indirect assessment. The system you can, if you want to visualize individual program in detail, you can do it. You can also investigate by learning domains. If you click on any of the values, understanding of skill, it will tell you how each one is accomplished by individual program. We also have a trend over for kind of a comparison, not a trend, I would say, a comparison across the programs for both direct and indirect assessments. This is for one program. So if we highlight one of the programs here, we drill down for the program, we can see it's each learning outcome to what extent they are contributing towards the accomplishment of the overall program, PLO 1, 2, 3, and 4. And we can see this is basically for just one program, a comparison of both direct and indirect. So similarly, we can actually drill down and then look into detail for individual programs here. Also, we have the overall accomplishment for at the institutional level. We can also look for, this is overall 86.64, but we can also, have an, we can get the data or the statistics for each graduate attribute or individual, each learning outcome. This is kind of a comparison. It's a funnel chart which is giving in descending order by program. We also have the idea, it's a box plot is also giving us the spread over for each college. This is by college wise. And this is just mostly, this is basically a descriptive tab, which is giving us information, insight into how each program is, the method they have. But again, it's an input from the program. This is the information they have provided us, how they are assessing the direct and indirect learning out, the methods there in order to assess the learning outcomes. So these are the indirect methods, they are the direct methods, and we can further check each of these ones by for individual college and program and by graduate attributes also. This is for graduate programs. So for the graduate programs also we have similar features for the dashboard. Individual programs are there, and then overall they are contributing in per learning domains or graduate attributes. This is a kind of a comparison by learning domains of each of the programs for their direct and indirect assessment. This is the achievement comparison. And so this was actually, for us, it was a great experience, starting from the Shabir, they were working for a very long time, definitely, on developing the system. And when we were getting the data input by the programs, we experienced few things. And also when we were cleaning the data and then in order to prepare the visuals and for the reporting, we experienced a lot of things. There were like the gaps which I think we need to bridge those gaps, and then it's a time that we go back to the departments and programs and again start the revision of their learning outcomes, and also we need to provide consultation, conduct meeting with the departments and programs. They need to revise their mapping and alignment, because this is what we have been experiencing. They need to revise their assessment plans, actually, basically the overall plan. And then we need to do the communication with them. A whole communication plan need to be developed. It needs to be documented, and then monitoring and evaluation. And that is for overall continuous improvement. Thank you very much. If you have any question.
Thank you, Ms. Saima, and your team. Alhamdulillah, I think we can see now our dreams are coming true, inshallah. This is just the first step, inshallah, and inshallah we'll see more growth in it. One of my suggestions here, when you are talking here about revised learning outcomes, the priority for improvement is also to understand that the validation of the assessment results, that when they are adding 86, 90, 96, that are they actually like using the right kind of measurement to enter the results, rubric scores. I think that also we need to consider, that it's not only just okay they put and then they have to revise the learning outcomes, but also the validation, the validity of the instrument tools is very important. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Shabir, please.
Thank you, Ms. Rohi, for this suggestion. And this is what we also experienced during our meetings, that when we were discussing the system, we as TLC, we also observed this, that we have to do some action against it. So that's why we are going to propose some new, like some minor changes, in especially in the report, program assessment report, because we, at the moment, we were just based on section C of APR, and we have to wait for the APR to assess, the learning outcomes at institutional level. So now, for that, we are just working on that, and maybe in future you'll hear from us about maybe a sort of like something, a report or something from the programs where we can analyze plus validate things. So yes, this is a very important point, because at the moment the data source which we have, that is only section C of APR. Okay.
Ah,
Yeah.
yes. Thank
Thank you.
you. Thank you,
And
Dr.
by the
Shabir.
way, the other comment is, this is the product of DQAD family, and you all know that you have been working along at PSU. So we have been struggling with the automation of things. So this is the step number one, as you mentioned, and we need your help to identify the improvements. And this is a system we can improve. No problem. As Dr. Yasser mentioned, that this is the first phase, and now we'll love to hear from you, and based on your suggestions, we will going to be improving the system. And
Thank you,
in the
Dr.
next level, we're going to be doing something for the programs. So this is at the institutional level. As per our discussion with Dr. Mamdou, we are just trying to, like, in future, maybe after 1 year from now, we are trying to design something for the programs, and which we will be implementing for the colleges to use the system, and that will be integrated with this system. So
Inshallah.
hopefully this is the way we improve, and we will be, as TLC, family, we just want to hear from DQAD family to improve this. Thank you.
Great job. Great job. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments, feedback? I just want to thank the team for their efforts, and inshallah, as they have said, any feedback that you can think of, we'll try to incorporate it into our system and continuously improve the process of automating the assessment of learning outcomes. Okay, thanks.
Thank you. Topic number 3, Dr. Mamdo, he asked me to make some changes in the calendar, which I'm going to share with you, and he has approved them. So you can see all the changes, they are highlighted in yellow. We have to ask the department chairs to share the program learning outcome report of the previous academic year in week 3 of every term. sorry, of the first term, not every term. Okay, and the independent verification reports of the previous will be also week 3 of each term. And also the, because now you know that our APR, the latest template, it doesn't contain the cohort analysis, and it mostly it depends on the survey results and the KPI results, and which will be, inshallah, I mean, we are actually getting the results by the end of the year, and we in order to improve our services, DQAD services, we will make these survey results available on dashboard by week 2 of the first term. Annual program reporting will be by week 4th of the first term. However, cohort analysis, which is not a part of APR, will still be asked, because this will be a part of our QMS. Cohort analysis, where the programs, they have to analyze the enrollment, withdrawal, and the graduation rate. It will be end of week 7. It will be like previously we used to ask the chairs to submit the APR in week 7, because usually we get our data by week 5, and the cohort analysis will be submitted by the chairs by week 7. And now the NCAA does not ask us the trend analysis of NCAA, of the KPIs for 3 years. I would like to raise, this question here: should we keep it still 3 years, or should we decrease it, or should we keep, because they usually ask for the previous year now. But when it comes to SSR, writing SSR or anything, we need to analyze, we need to have some trend analysis. So what do you recommend here to keep that? How many years we should be having this trend analysis? So I leave this question to all members. They can give their feedback. Yes, Dr. Alia.
In my humble opinion, it has to be at least 2 to 3 years of data in order to have a substantial kind of trend analysis, or the analysis from it.
Okay.
Because you want to see what is happening in the programs, and then how are they using the data from those KPIs to continuously improve what's happening inside their programs. This is, I think we need to really help them recognize and learn how to use the data to continuously improve.
Thank you, Dr. Alia. Any other comment about it? Yes.
Yeah,
The same, I was going to say, raised by hand, but Dr. Alia said it all. Actually, totally agree with that.
yeah,
We
it should
cannot
be
have a
at
trend
least. Yeah,
analysis less
yeah,
than 3 to 5 years. So
yeah,
So
yeah.
we'll not change it. So inshallah we'll be.
Maybe we can, Ms. Rohi, maybe we can add the target there, because the target and the actual one. Okay, so it will be like more comprehensive for even telling why they didn't reach the targeted one.
No, I mean, here it is definitely, the template which is in the APR also, it talks about the target and the achievement, the new target and the internal target. So that is there. But the question here is that when we have KPI results, should we analyze them for 3 years? In my opinion, I did not want to say in the
No,
beginning,
at least,
it should
yeah,
be at
yeah,
least,
yeah,
okay,
at
for
least
the last
three,
year,
maybe
three
more,
years.
maybe more.
So these are the things for TLC, because Dr. Like we faced this problem this time, that we were waiting for the APR and TLC was not able to complete their task, and then we had to request this. So now it will be end of week 3, because week 1 is always, the chairs are busy with the registration, and week 2 they will just slow down, and then week 3, there inshallah they will submit the PLO report. If you have any question on this, any comment, please feel free to send the comment through email, or you can just mention it now. If there's no comment, then I'll leave it the floor to Mr. Rida. He will be talking about the Jahazia program.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. Rohi. Yeah, so for Jahziya, we already actually sent the name of the student who's actually this year we changed actually our strategy, because the attendance last year was low, so we changed the strategy with the approval from Dr. Mamdouh. So we are targeting the co-op student only. So who's actually starting from September and will start in the next term in January. So there is 10 program they are targeted this year, which is including CBA except AVM and all CCIS, law, and there is two programs actually explicitly said that like civil engineering and electrical engineering. Then Dr. Yasser he request the production and manufacturing engineering will be add to that program. So to those programs as industrial engineering after he checked the key learning outcomes. So now we have 10, but I have to uh, communicate again with Jahizia. This is inshallah will be done. But the issue what we face is the program should check actually the names of co-op student. So what we receive from co-op office, I think it's not really reflecting what is actual things in the program. So we ask them to check again, and tomorrow also we will talk to them just to verify the names, because once you select the names, so in the system, because it's computerized, so the system will be just the name that we already sent. So I have to contact Jahizia again to be sure that can we actually update actually the list or not. So tomorrow we will have a workshop as an orientation for the programs who actually going the taking the exam, and the exam will be between 29th of January to 8th of February, and it will be all computerized. Until now, we don't know if they have, as they did last year, they just some program they did it manually or paper based, and the other with computers. So also we are waiting for decision from the university if we can motivate the student with something like either it will be part of co-op report, or maybe there is some incentive. This is not decided yet, but we are waiting for the decision. Dr. Mumduh actually following with them, and the exam will be as I said in lab inside the university. So we will coordinate with ITC. We will reserve 3 labs in the whole period. So once we have the final schedule, so we will know where we can allocate, depends on the number of students. And tomorrow will be, inshallah, as I said, the workshop for Jahiziyah. And they just call me now Jahiziyah. So any question regarding the Jahiziyah program?
I will just take what you take the call, Mr. Rida. Regarding inshallah tomorrow's workshop, we'll be actually talking about their they have come up with the knowledge learning outcomes, and I would suggest if TLC can also join tomorrow just to get an understanding that how we can map our program learning outcomes with their knowledge learning outcomes. And I'll just show you quickly, if you just allow me. uh,
What time is the session, Ruhi?
it's at 12 o'clock. Mhm.
It's online?
Sorry? Yeah, it's online.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, it's not here right now. Inshallah, you'll see it tomorrow. They have actually they have come up with now. They have actually taken this idea. If you, Dr. Yasser and Dr. Shabir from ACM, the curricula, they have taken knowledge units. that okay, every graduate, for example, for a related to the program, they should be having the knowledge and skills for these knowledge units. So they have knowledge learning outcomes, then they have specialized learning outcomes, SLOs they call it. Okay. And then now I asked Dr. Mamda about it. I said that are we going to change all this what we have the setup? No. What we should do, we should be knowing how to map our PLOs or CLOs with these learning outcomes. So because when the program exit exam will happen, they are actually taking that, because they have also actually shown for every program the courses, the core courses, and even they have also mentioned the topics. Actually, I asked this question to the head of what was his name, Dr. Alia, Dr. Khalid,
Yeah, I
who
think
was
it was.
Dr.
Yeah.
Khalid. So I asked him that why did you put, I mean, that are you restraining us that to keep only those topics, in the course, what you are mentioning? He said that no, this is the minimum requirement what you should be having in the course, because the questions, they were facing problem that what kind of questions we should be actually asking, in the program exit exam. Then he said that we were forced to add at least the minimum set of topics for every core course, so that we'll get the fair results from different universities. So inshallah we'll be talking about that, and that is also actually linked with ILOs and PLOs, everything. And
Mm. And
and
it's
how
mandatory.
we can
It's mandatory.
yeah,
So
it will be now, inshallah, because when whosoever will be actually in the graduate, they will be seeking job, they have to, it's like KIAS exam now, they have to submit their program exit scores as well. That's a brief introduction. Inshallah, more tomorrow.
and just do we have time to address the exam audit, Dr. Mando?
We won't take more than 3 to 4 minutes, I think, probably.
Yeah. As you know, several years ago, back in 2019, TLC was requested to do an audit of exams across the colleges. So now that we have a director of the EEU, the Educational Effectiveness Unit, under the TLC, I made a request at the beginning of the year for them to take action on this so that we can do it again. But I told them, instead of letting the colleges and departments choose the courses they want to include in this audit, that it needs to be based on data. So mashallah, uh, Saima, along with Dr. Rada, worked really hard on this. And can you share them what you have developed? Based on data, we have selected courses from each and every college at the undergraduate and graduate level to be audited this academic year. Go ahead, Saima.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. This is Dr. Ghada. I'm going to start presenting a bit on the task we were assigned earlier this year regarding the exam audit to be proposed this semester. So what we basically did, Ms. Saima, myself, and Mr. John, we have basically looked at the old exam audit. We have looked at the old rubric, old reports from actually the participating parties, and we just come up with a list of improvements and recommendations to be implemented in this new exam audit task. So we are planning it to be, we have a timeline. Ms. Simon will discuss it in just a second, but we basically have taken the data-driven approach for the course selection in conjunction with the unified template and clear communication channels. And we want to basically review and measure the effectiveness of the task, okay, as recommended by Dr. Ali, of course. Okay, so you can move on.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you very much, Dr. Rada, and really appreciate your support and the leadership of Dr. Alia. She recommended us to use the data-driven approach, which had been a great experience. It was a little bit overwhelming, but it's worth doing it. As you can see, we based the selection of the courses from the data for 6 semesters. It's 3 years data that had been taken from Educate. We have, and then this dashboard is prepared. As you can see very clearly, it's color coded. Greener is better, more orangish is lower. And then we checked each and every program we checked by programs, by colleges. And we actually, there was a lot of hidden insights and findings when we were doing it. For example, when we were looking at these courses, we found out that there were missing data for so many semesters, and then we went back to the call program and we checked because they changed the course codes. That's why the data was not available. So there are a lot of findings. Probably in another full-fledged detailed presentation, we will discuss the findings of this one. But at the moment, we just want to talk about. And then we looked into trend over a period of time. As you can see, some courses, we looked at the trends of the courses. This is detailed for each semester. The number of the course sections, the number of the students registered, pass, and the passing percentages by programs. So over 6 semesters, we looked into it and then came up with the selection of the courses. This is for graduate programs. We have the graduate programs also here. Similar trends, they were analyzed. And then a selection of 40 courses from undergrad programs. And there were lot of different criteria. And we looked into the best, the average, and the lower, passing percentages. Some of the courses, there was a very large standard deviation between the percentage of passing. So there were different, a detailed analysis when we selected the courses here. Very data-driven approach, actually, truly. These are the graduate programs. So we have in total of 40 courses from undergrad and 8 courses from graduate programs. This is the timeline for the exam audit.
Sorry, I have to leave, but before leaving, I just want to ask you one question. Is the selection based on passing and failing or based on grade inflation or deflation?
Because the grade, no, it's basically passing and failing. But because grade inflation is just one of the, it's kind of a cut point, you can say. If it's an inflation or deflation there, it's one of the indicator. But we looked into everything. If there were consistent inflation or deflation, we also considered it in shortlisting.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, I have to leave. I have a class. Okay. I'm already late by this time.
All right, thank you very much. So this is the timeline for the exam audit. We had been preparing. It took us a little while in preparation for the data analysis and also coming up with the rubrics for. Dr. Radha will briefly talk about the rubric here.
Yeah, so what we did with the rubric, we basically took some time to review and go over the old rubric that was used back in 2019, and we have improved upon it. We are basically looking at like 5 different main areas. Under each area, we have 4 different subcategories, and we're assigning each one of them a specific score. So we're going to design a very clear-cut and also very user-friendly rubric to be supplemented to the auditor to help them or guide them through this whole function. So we just want to basically, like I said again, respond to the recommendations and to the areas of improvements or weaknesses we were alerted about back in 2019, because we had about 50 remarks, and we made sure we discuss of course what's feasible of all of them and include in our rubric. And once we have the rubric ready, we're based on the timeline proposed, we're going to be inviting the chairs to this specific meeting, first meeting. And then if the participants need any further guidance, we can pretty much organize small workshops to just guide them through the task ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Radha. If there is a question. All right. Thank you very much, everyone.
Okay. Thank you, Saima. Thank you, Dr.
Thank you.